Okay, we're at 1 minute past the hour, so I'm going to get started. I'm just too excited. There's too much in today not to get started straight away and start with this fantastic agenda of speakers and information that we've got to pass on to you all. So welcome to our M365 Community Day. So anyone that is a regular to the Cambridge Power Platform user group knows that once a year we do a full day event. We've done Power Platform boot camps in the past where we have 8 or 9 speakers during the day. And this year we really wanted to focus on something close to my heart and obviously that I'm trying to be quite influential in as an area. For me, women in tech is really, really important. And to stress, it's not about exclusion. There are some guys in here. We've got the lovely Luke in the background helping us with the call. We've also got Sancho Harker, MVP, in the background as a moderator for us. It's about inclusion. So it's about including as many people, as diverse an audience as we can, and celebrating the success of women in tech. So we've got some fantastic speakers today, and it's my job to introduce and to mediate and to make sure that everybody is having a good time. But I also wanted to introduce you to a couple of faces. I don't know if you can bring yourselves on screen, Luke. We've got Luke and Amber, the lovely Luke and Amber in the background, working away. There they are. Amber's been dealing with all of our administrative and speaker liaison. Thank you so much, Amber, for everything you do. And Luke is my techie. So he's in the background making sure that everybody that needs to speak can speak and all the presentations are running smoothly. So thank you very much to my fantastic team there in the background. Okay, let's get started. Let's jump straight in. So what we've got for you on the agenda to, oh, yeah, good point. Okay, so we always must be aware that we are in a meeting with others. We need to be friendly and patient and all of these things on the screen. Now, it goes without saying that when you're in presentations with first-time speakers and when you've got speakers that have taken time out of their life to either record or to attend and discuss something with us, that we need to be kind and considerate. But today we do have a lot of first-time speakers, so I'm especially asking today for a little bit of patience and understanding should we have any technical issues or speaker wobbles. They happen, and I really want to give these speakers the opportunity to come and pass on their skills and their knowledge. So let's be nice, let's be kind. We are on a webinar, so you can't interrupt the speakers, but we do have chat going down. I say here because it's there for me. We do have the chat going on down the side. Feel free to ask questions during sessions as well. Where possible, and if it's appropriate, I'll interrupt the speakers or Luke will, and we'll ask that question directly of the speaker during session. But where it's more appropriate, we'll leave those questions to the end. If you do put something inappropriate in chat, we reserve the right to remove you from the meeting. Also, please be aware that we are recording and that this will go on to YouTube at the end of the day. So if you don't want to be on that recording when you come, should we take you off mute or bring you in to ask a question, if you don't want to be on camera, then please don't turn your camera on because this is being recorded. There you go. Exits are here and here. Okay. So this is the agenda for today, loads and loads to get through. I'm going to do a small introduction about me and how I got to where I've got to in life. And then we've got Cheryl and Daisy, fantastic mother and daughter duo, really looking forward to this session. Moving on to some Viva topics, we've also got Viva Suite coming. We've got our fantastic, and I know she was in the chat, I don't know if she's disappeared already, fantastic keynote speaker, Charlotte Light, who I've had the pleasure of working with at the Aztec Group, to come and tell us about her story of success in technology. And then after a break, we're going to look at Syntex, we're going to look at Teams, we're going to look at OneDrive, Outlook, and accessibility. All really important topics, just showing you the diversity of skills that we've got in the women that are coming to speak for you today. So let's crack on, because I'm already eating into my own time. Not much to say about me. Hopefully those of you that have attended before know me. If you don't, ping me, find me on LinkedIn or on Twitter and let's chat. If you're enthusiastic and love all things Power Platform or business applications like I do, then let's have a coffee. virtual or otherwise. I'm based in Cambridge in the UK, so I'm really easy to get hold of. A little bit about me. So I'm a CEO of Business Cloud Integration Limited, who are the developers of Casper 365, one of the sponsors of today's session, and who you'll probably see in the background of my screen. I'm a massive evangelist of the Power Platform and Office 365, SharePoint Online. SharePoint in particular is where I come from, hence being known as SharePoint Sharon on LinkedIn. I'm a dual MVP this year, both business applications and M365 apps and services, which also encompasses the team's workloads. So I spend a lot of time and get some swag from Microsoft to work with them on new iterations of product, what's coming next, and making sure that we're out there sharing the information about how to use those products in the marketplace. So I'm very much a speaker that is concerned with business value. So Getting to Value Faster, the title of my book, which I'm still writing, will be coming out hopefully in the next 12 months. But very much my focus is around how we make businesses success. And it's become very clear to me over the last few years that that only happens when people have the opportunity to share their skills and to share their stories. And what better platform than a Women in Tech platform to show what powerful speakers we have out there, what information we have to share both with businesses and from businesses to help make everybody in the tech community successful. So my role here is really to pay it forward. So as a community leader, my job is to bring together everybody to share their information and to make sure that we're all doing that in an environment that is inclusive and is diverse. So as a woman in technology, I've been there. We've all been there, where you are the only woman in the room, or you are the only techie in the room, or sometimes you're the only techie woman in the room. And it was scary for me in my younger years. As I've got older, I don't let that worry me as much. But I'd love to see more women coming into those rooms, coming into those environments, so that it's no longer an issue. My hope is that that's less of an issue today as it was when I first started out. But we need to get better, and we need to make technology an accessible career for those coming into or considering as they come out of education which career to come into. So a career path in technology is one of my key goals to introduce women to. So today, like I say, we're going to show you those that are at the start of that journey and those that have succeeded in that journey, specifically Charlotte, who's going to come along and tell us what it's like to be at the top in one of the organizations with a tech role. And I'm really looking forward to her session. Thank you, Nick. You got ahead of me there. I was taking a breath. So the next session on the Women in Tech 2023 event from the Cambridge Power Platform Group, the M365 Collaboration Day, is Mica Hanson. So Mica, Senior Training Consultant at Blackstone, is going to talk to us about OneNote tags, Outlook tasks, and to-do integration with OneNote. Now, I find that people are either OneNote or they're not. So I think this is going to be a really interesting session. And this is our last session of the day. So for those of you who have been with us all day, thank you so much for supporting the event and for Women in Tech. This has been a long day of sessions, and we really appreciate you staying with us. For those that have just joined, hope you enjoy Mica's session. It is another recorded session, so if you have any comments, any questions, pop them in the chat and we'll pass those on to the presenters or try and answer them ourselves. We have Sancho, our MVP, in the background, as well as myself, and the lovely Luke and Amber also still here with us today to help out with any questions or any kind of technical issues that we're having during the session. So Luke, over to you. Do we have the recording to play for Mica?
Hi, my name is Mica Hanson, and I am so grateful that I can talk to you today. Grateful for the experiences that we get to have as not only a woman, but also a woman in the business world and the technology world, and to see kind of how our stories can evolve. And I think sometimes people talk about how they feel that, being a woman in any kind of field is not necessarily any different than, being a man, and maybe we shouldn't differentiate it. I've heard people talking about this, but I feel like there really truly can be large obstacles that we have to overcome. So I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about my journey and how I got to where I am today. And I think it started with a totally different plan in mind for what I was going to do. I was going to be a psychologist, and I was going to school for that. And I noticed being in Utah, even with my degree, I was unable to get a job that a lot of times it was so easy for my male counterparts to do. And in Utah, in the United States, it is a very different culture, very much a patriarchal type of society. And statistically, women definitely make less than men. And a lot of the men are the breadwinners, women stay home. And I've seen over time that this has changed somewhat, but it is largely the same as when I left. And I realized as I was, trying to be an entrepreneur and find what interested me during college that I really wasn't making enough money in my field. I got like a quarter raise when I got my bachelor's degree. And I realized that it was time to try something new. So while working for myself was really awesome, I knew that doing so in Utah wouldn't be the best option for me. So I moved to Seattle. And I found that within a couple weeks, I actually had an amazing opportunity to be a representative for Microsoft in the retail realm. And so that's kind of how my love of technology was ignited. So before this, I actually didn't realize that I was good with technology. It was something that I felt like was a little bit intimidating because I equated technology with coding and with things that were difficult for me to even imagine doing. But I mean, from first grade, I was a huge advocate for typing tutor. I thought it was the greatest thing. Everyone should play it. I spent a lot of my time doing it, and I spent a lot of time on computers in general. And luckily, over the years, I gained a lot of computer skills that I didn't even realize were something that could help me as much as they did. So back to Seattle, I had to audition, I guess, for this role where I gave a presentation. I spoke about a product, and I actually got the job. And it was something that was so exciting to me. I mean, I realized over time too how I actually was good with technology. It was something that I loved, that I was passionate about, that I learned quickly, and I quit trying to tell myself I wasn't capable of things. And so as a woman in technology, I found that one of the greatest tools I could have was education. And it didn't have to be formal education. For me, I spent a ton of time on LinkedIn Learning. I definitely taught myself a lot of skills that I needed to know. So I realized that I wanted to take the next step in my career, and I was offered a really amazing opportunity to be a national trainer for Microsoft. And so I definitely jumped on the opportunity. I decided to see where it would take me, and I got to experience some amazing things, learn technology before it came out, and train the people who did what I used to do. And so super grateful that I was able to do that. And it was an amazing opportunity. But as I had 2 children, I decided to spend more time at home. And I think a lot of times being a mom can take women out of the workforce. So luckily, I was able to have a very supportive husband who gave me time to keep up on my skills. And LinkedIn Learning was a huge part of keeping up to date for me. So I did work as I had my 2 kids still as a national trainer, sometimes bringing the baby along with me, sometimes not. And I definitely encountered some huge obstacles along the way, like trying to get access to freezers for breast milk at hotels and, having to find a way to pump in a place in a hotel that wasn't really designed for that. So there were always like obstacles in the airports, not having a place to go. And it's funny, I was actually at the airport recently and I saw that there are like stations in a lot of places now that are set up. So Definitely would suggest, if you encounter any of these obstacles along your way, to speak up, because I found that using my voice, whether that's through Twitter, messaging somebody, definitely does make a difference. And even if not for you initially, in the long run, it's going to help someone else. So I was able to continue on this path, but my work was contract and part-time, and I learned so many great things and I loved it, but I decided it was time after 2 kids for me to go back to work full-time. So I started applying for jobs everywhere that was warm and sunny. I was tired of the clouds in Seattle, and I realized that, there were a few jobs out there that I could fit into very well. And one of the jobs that I took after that was to help with training and adoption for a company called Lee Health. They had an organization with multiple hospitals in the Southwest Florida area, and I was able to help with Microsoft adoption and training, and all the skills that I learned over the years just seemed to pile on top of each other and help in my final goal of being able to, help others learn, help others get those skills that they needed to advance in their own careers. And I started noticing that there were a lot of women who wanted those skills. They were hungry for knowledge. They were excited about their opportunities that they started to get. And a lot of them would come to me and tell me, this really helped me get this job, or I really want to learn more about this. And it was such an amazing opportunity for me to be able to see all these women learn these skills and grow. And so something that I'm extremely passionate about is helping others, teaching them some tips and tricks that can help them in their day-to-day life. And now I do the same thing for Blackstone. I help a lot of people with their technology skills, but I also, in my free time, I have so much of it as a busy working person, wife, and a mom, but I still want to give back. I still want to help people, who may not be in the business world yet. And so I love to contribute in different ways, in as many ways as I can, whether that be through blogs or speaking at events. And so I'm trying to do this more and more. And I hope that today I can show you something that's going to help your life be a little bit easier, give you more time, because there's never enough hours in the day, especially as a woman. And I think having these little tips and tricks can definitely decrease stress, increase productivity, and make our lives better. So with that, I want to do a demo for you. One thing that I think is definitely underutilized are jump lists. So just wanted to point out these are there for you still. When you right click on your Microsoft Office applications, you can just jump to a document that you want to access or pin it so that it's always available in this jump list. With Outlook, it's even better because you are able to create an email message right from within the jump list or a meeting. So you don't have to open up your application if you're working on something else. Excel, same kind of thing. So you can just jump to what you need to without having to open up the entire application. I'm going to go ahead and select Word and show you one of my favorite ways to create documents without having to reinvent the wheel every time. So what I can do is go up here to my Design tab, and there's a variety of themes that we can choose from, but you may end up needing to have a specific theme for your documentation that's supported by your organization as far as the fonts that are used and the colors that are used. So one way to make this happen is you can go to fonts, you can go to customized fonts, and you can choose whatever fonts you want for your heading as well as for your body. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this Nirmala UI Semi-Light for my body, for my heading. And I'm going to choose one for my body font. And once you have that ready, you can go ahead and name that company font or whatever you want to call it, and you can save. Next, you can go under your colors and customize them. So we can just choose customize colors, and you can choose what you want it to look like. So for your text or background, the first choice, I'm going to go ahead and select more colors. So if you know the hex code or the RGB values, you can always place them in here, or you could just select the color or choose a standard color. So for my light color, I'm going to go ahead and choose this gray, and I can choose, the supporting themes, and you'll kind of see where these colors are going to originate in your background. So we have our background text, we have what's going to be foreground, what our hyperlink will look like. So once you kind of like the way that that will look for any charts you create or text that you have based on your dark or light version of the theme, you can go ahead and name this company colors. And then we'll save it. So now that we have this, I'm going to choose some custom paragraph spacing. So your company may have a default that they want you to have. Maybe they want you to have a set amount before paragraphs or after. You can go ahead and fill that in. You can choose what the line spacing will be at. So you could do double, you could choose a multiple. So now we have our custom paragraph spacing. I could choose new documents based on this template, or I could choose just this document. I'm going to go ahead and choose based on this template. If I want to change the font size, I can do that here as well. And I can just choose OK. And now that I have this getting to be more like what I'm going for, I can just set this as the default for all new documents, or I can go to themes and I can save this theme and give it my company name. And this is going to contain the colors, the fonts, and the paragraph spacing that I've set. So in the future, I can always quickly and easily access this and make sure that the documents are in the style I want. So I may want to choose a different style from this as well. That may be something, if you didn't like the default, you could have done that as well before you save it. So now I'm all set. I can go to home and I can start creating my document with these specific themes. And the reason why this matters so much to me is that it's just going to make it so I don't have to reset it each time. And also so I can use the built-in features for my table of contents. So I might want to create the title slide, and this might be called training for analysts or whatever the case may be. And I can go ahead and just start typing, put in any headings that I want. Maybe this is going to be its own page. I can just do a blank page and go to the next topic. So this could be topic 1, and I'll show you how we can quickly and easily make our table of contents based on this. So this keeps all of my paragraph settings and all of the font settings that I chose. And just to not make you watch me type all day, I'll go ahead and choose another blank page. We'll do one more heading, and this will be topic 2. So when I'm ready, I can just go to the top here, and I can choose to insert my table of contents. That's actually in references. So I'll go to the table of contents. I can choose which style I like, and I can select it. Now I have my table of contents. I have the page that it's on. It's already hyperlinked, and it took me no time at all. And I may want this on its own page. I could always go in and insert a page break here so that it's down below. And then if I need to update this table of contents, I can just click on it and update that to have the page numbers updated. Or if I add additional topics, I might want to update the entire table. You can see my page numbers have been updated. So this is just an amazing thing, I think, for being able to create content without having to spend a ton of time recreating the wheel every single time. Okay, so I wanted to show you another one of my favorite features for saving time, And that is going to be quick steps. So if I am inside of Outlook and I have a lot of items that I want to get out of my inbox into the appropriate folder with specific categories and specific flags, I can do all of that with a quick step. So I have some already created. This one is for my action folder where I'm going to go take action on items. I have my action when response arrives, and I have my action when possible. I also have one for saving items and for reading items. And each one of these have different steps that will help make my life easier when it comes to organizing and prioritizing my email. So if I want to look at one of these, I can go ahead and select the drop down here, and I can choose to manage my quick steps. So you can see with this specific one, if I wanted to create a new one, I'd just choose new and I'd choose custom. And the items in this, just so you can kind of see, are to move to the action folder, to categorize the message as urgent, and to flag the message for today. And then I can always leave myself a tooltip so I know what this quick step does. So when I hover over it, I would get the tooltip. When response arrives, does the same kind of thing, only it doesn't have a date for flagging it, and the category is different. The category is called when response arrives. These categories are going to allow me to keep things organized so that I'm able to keep track of what's going on by its priority within the action folder itself. And I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. And then my action when possible, this is going to be when I have more time. I might want to flag this for this week or maybe for tomorrow, whatever is best for you. And if you're a shortcut key person, you could always assign a shortcut key. For save, this is going to move it to the save folder and clear any categories or flags, because if I'm just saving it, it means I've already acted on it and I no longer need to have those categories or flags. And then lastly, the one I use is read. If I want to move items to my read folder, I can have them be marked as unread so that I can see when there's items within my read folder that I still need to take care of. So I'm going to go ahead and say okay, but again, just new and custom is going to bring you to this window where you can prioritize these yourself, change the icons, add additional options or actions rather, so you can make these behave in any way that's beneficial for you. And when I'm ready, I can just say okay. So to start working on these, I can just click on the items and choose the quick step. So I'll just go ahead and go through. If they're part of a conversation, it's going to let me know, and I can put these in the appropriate folder. And then when I'm ready, I can go to the action folder and I can sort these by urgent, when possible, and when response arrives. So I am able to prioritize the urgent items, make sure I'm not forgetting anything, and stay organized, which honestly, Microsoft Office has done a great job of helping me do. So you can always utilize these if they're beneficial to you. I truly hope they are. And with that, I want to show you another thing that has really helped me in my day-to-day. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to show you is something that has to do with how different applications work together within OneNote. So I absolutely love OneNote. It's amazing, not just for business meetings, but also just for keeping myself organized in general. So one thing that I've done is I've gone to meeting details and I've inserted the meeting details. This allows me to take notes down below. And not only that, as I'm taking my notes, I may think of a task that would be good for someone else to complete. So maybe I want to remind Joe that he needs to take action on this item. I can just click by the item itself, go to my Outlook tasks, and choose custom. And the reason we're going to choose custom, whether it's assigning a task to myself or to someone else, is because I get all the full options within Outlook tasks. So this just opened on my other screen. I'll pull it over and you can see that it enters whatever is in the context of this line right here. So it not just enters it takes whatever is written here and puts it as the subject. So if I want to add more information, I can, maybe something like, please click the link below for context. And then I can set a reminder if it's for myself, which I absolutely love because I definitely need reminders throughout my day. It helps me immensely. But if it's for someone else, I can just choose to assign the task. And I also am able to get an updated copy of that task on my own task list within Outlook, as well as get a status report when Joe marks this as completed. So this is a wonderful tool that allows you to use not just the beauty of taking notes, but also the organization of Outlook. And when I'm done creating any of these tasks, they're also going to be a part of To-Do. So everything syncs, everything works together. I can have all of this in my To-Do as well. And within my teams, if I have tasks by planner and To-Do, I have that available there for me as well. So it's just a beautiful thing with Outlook tasks. Another thing I really enjoy is the fact that I can insert directly into my OneNote any kind of additional information someone may need. So as you start to take your notes, you may notice this little warning to let you know that they're going to be creating links automatically so that you can find them later. You just want to say okay, and if you don't want to see it again, you can check the box. So I could say something like, Julie, please check out this feature. And you can see it's linking to the specific part in the Word document where I'm at. So in this case, there's only one page. It's not going to be that insightful, but let's check out another one. We're going to open up PowerPoint and I'll click down here below, use this as a guide for the PowerPoint on Monday, or whatever the case may be. And when I hover over this, or even better, when Julie does, she can click on this and it will take her right to that document, right to that specific part of the document. So I'll show you what this will look like. I'm going to go ahead and close both of these. I'm going to open this back up by clicking on full page view. And when Julie comes in and she sees her task, she can click on the word icon and it's going to open up and take her to exactly where my cursor was when I wrote that note. Same with PowerPoint. When I click on this PowerPoint link, and you may have to click in the note to see it, when you click on it, it's going to open up PowerPoint exactly to where your location was. So it's just a really great way of being able to quickly and easily link to items that are going to be helpful for somebody else in their task or note-taking journey. We can even link to other parts of OneNote itself. So we could do that with Dock to Desktop, or we could always insert links. There's the link option here, which is more for manually picking the location. But if we're inside of a notebook, we can always right click and copy the link and then jump to the other section to paste that in with just a simple right click paste. So lots of different ways actually of doing the same thing. But the benefit is that people are going to be able to get the information they need and stay in, the same kind of cellophane wrapper for being able to access it, whether it's from within Teams, opening that OneNote notebook, having everything in one place, or whether you're in the desktop application and you're able to jump to all the documents or sections of OneNote that you might need. So thank you so much for your time today. I've really enjoyed showing you some of my favorite things, and I hope it's helpful. I hope that you've been able to gain something that will make your day-to-day life a little bit easier. Hopefully showed you something you didn't know. And I'm just super grateful to be a woman in technology. See so many different things that are coming out, and being able to have a good community of other women where we can support each other and be there for each other. So feel free to reach out to me. I have my LinkedIn information located right at the top of your screen, and I would love to hear from you. Just feel free to reach out. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day, and thanks for joining me. Bye.
What a fantastic session from Mica to end the day. If there is any Q&A, we'll be able to add that to the comments in YouTube so that we can let her know and ask questions directly. So thank you very much to Mica, even though you weren't here. Great session. Great session. Thanks to everybody that has attended today. Thank you to my team in the background. We have the lovely Luke and Amber who have been moderating all day and doing all the speaker prep for us. We have Sancho Harker also in the background who has been in the chat and helping out with any questions during the course of the day. And it's been an absolute delight to be your host or hostess for the Cambridge Power Platform Women in Tech event. So the M365 Community Days have loads of events on. Please do go over to Community Days and you'll be able to see loads of events on their site, which are run by user groups and communities, and specifically, those events that are community driven. So that's where volunteers like me and my team get together and ask a bunch of speakers to come along and help share and learn. So, as I said, it's been a fantastic day. Thank you to all of our speakers. We'll put all of the sessions up onto YouTube for you. Hopefully they'll be there before International Women's Day, which I think is about midweek on the 8th of March. And thank you so much for attending. We really appreciate your time here. And once again, see you soon at the next event.